Very good morning, children. Welcome to session 6, Story of Microorganisms, part 2. Already in a previous session, we studied about a housefly, where this housefly grow and how this housefly is able to cause or transfer the disease like a typhoid and a cholera from an infected person to healthy person. And even we studied about different types of bacterial, viral, protozoan and some insect disease, how they can spread from person to person, and how we can control by taking vaccination and other personal hygienic methods like this. And we studied about some common disease in livestock, some animals like say in cattle like foot and mouth disease, anthrax disease, and in plants we can find viral infections like this. And even we studied about plant disease like a citrus canker, then a smut, then say this what is that? Can you? Yeah, there is a red rot in a sugarcane, tobacco mosaic virus in a tobacco, like this. Okay, now let's come to our session. The topic that is food poisoning. And now and then in newspapers or in TV news, you may hold that. See, especially this the children who are in hostels, so they get hospitalized because of a food poisoning. What is a food poisoning means? When the food is preserved or a food is stored improperly. Improperly means without a proper covering or in unhygienic conditions like this, then the microorganisms enter that food and release some toxins into the food materials. Toxic substances. Toxic means some poisonous substances. So whenever that food poisoning is due to consumption of spoiled food. So whenever that spoiled food is taken by the human beings, then automatically we get a condition that is called food poisoning. That is food poisoning. Correct. Now and then even we can find that some people they take the leftover food in the next day as a breakfast. But now and then while we're taking that kind of food, our mother stops us not to take that food. Why means as it is giving some bad smell or due to presence of this water in that food, our mother stops us to take that food. Got it? Okay, so whenever we take that spoiled food, then that leads to a condition called food poisoning. And when that food poisoning taken place, then we can find the symptoms like vomiting, especially vomiting, then motions, and if it is not treated in time, even that leads to death of that person. Got it? Okay, that's why we should be very, very careful in taking this stored type of food material. Okay, always it is better not to take this stored food. And here cooked food spoiled in less time than raw food. Raw food means, say for example, take any fish curry and take a normal fish. So when these two are kept separately over the table, so what you can observe by the next day, which one is spoiled? Yeah, this cooked food spoiled very, very easily. Why means because of this cooking, the food becomes very, very soft. Okay, so that it becomes very, very easy for the microorganisms to spoil that kind of food. Got it? Okay, and when we take a bacterium by name Clostridium botulinum, it is the kind of bacteria, and that is mainly responsible for spoilage of different types of food items. Okay, and we call that disease as a botulism. Got it? Right? So what is the name of the bacteria? That is a Clostridium botulinum, and it is a bacteria, right? Okay. And here you can observe the picture. You can observe the picture of this bacteria. See here, we can find this is the bacteria, right? So where you can find this bacteria? Mostly, this is all, this is all food material. So when food is stored improperly, then automatically this bacterium will develop, and that spoils the food. Clear? Right. Then next topic. So food preservation. What is meant by preservation? Storing. Food storing. So how to store the food material? Means, whenever any food material is spoiled, then how we can identify that? Yeah, we can identify that by bad smell. It gives bad smell. When food is spoiled, it gives a bad smell, and even its taste is not good. That means we can find a bad taste. So by using these two symptoms and these two characters, we can say whether the food is spoiled or not. Even you see, for example, whenever you are taking any new type of food, then what you do first? Will you taste that directly? No, first you smell that. Okay, if its smell is good, then you like to take. If it is not giving any good smell, they think that it gives some bad smell, then you won't like to taste that. Got it? Okay. So by using these two characters, bad smell and a bad taste, so we can say whether the food is spoiled or not. So what is the main reason for spoilage of food? Means, water or moisture. Whatever the food you can take, in that food we can find some amount of water. For example, take this cucumber, tomato, like this. Whenever you cut them, you can find that they release some water, right? And even in some of, say for example, take a potato. When you cut this potato, will you get water? No, that is a moisture. So, almost all the food items, we can find a water or a moisture. So, when water or a moisture is present in the food, then that food can be spoiled by these microorganisms. Right? So, whenever you want to preserve the food material for a long time, then what you have to do? First, we have to remove the moisture or water from the food. By removing water or moisture from the food, then automatically we can prevent the growth of microbes in that food, so that the food will not be spoiled. Okay, that is a basic principle in food preservation. What is that? By removing water or moisture from food items. When there is no water, then automatically no microbes can grow in that food. So when there are no microbes, then no spoilage of food. Got it? Okay, and here in our daily life we can find some common, very good examples. Say here, what is this picture? Yeah, this is a pickle. Now, in which season generally our mother or our grandparents prepare this pickle? Yeah, it is actually which pickle? Yeah, very good. It's a mango pickle. So in which season we prepare this? Yeah, in summer. Okay. So what items we add to store this pickle? Yeah, especially salt and oil. No, that's salt and oil. Salt and oil. So what are these two means? These two are to be preservatives. So in this pickle, you can find that our mother or grandparents are adding more salt and more oil. So why means these two are preservatives, and so that we can preserve this pickle more than a year. Got it? Okay, then in the next picture you can find, what is this? Yeah, this is a dried fish. So for example, take one dry fish and one normal fish and put them over the table. And if you observe them after one day, can you find any change? Yeah, what is that? Yeah, can you say that both the fishes seems to be same? No, See, the normal fish is giving a bad smell, and it gives not at all good taste. Why? Why means it is spoiled. But what about this fish? Yeah, this is a dry fish, and here we cannot find any change. It is as it is. Dry fish. What is meant by dry fish? That means from this fish we completely remove the water. We completely remove the water. Okay, that's why this fish will not spoil. Okay, that's why we can store them. We can store them more than a year. Got it? So even whenever you go to our Prithutu market, you can find different varieties of this dried fishes. Have you seen? Yeah. Okay. Then so this is a drying is one method, and another one, that is a fish. So here, what do you call this kind of fish means? A smoked fish. Smoked fish. Generally, all the non-veg items, especially meat can be preserved by using this smoking method. This method can be called as a smoking. Here, we make a fire. We make a fire. Okay, and from this burning wood, whatever the see this temperature or the smoke that is coming out, to that smoke this meat is exposed. So because of the temperature present in that smoke, the water present in this meat or fish is eliminated, is removed. Okay, so that fish can be stored for a long time. What do you call this kind of fish? This can be called as a smoked food or a smoked fish. Got it, children? So naturally there's a fish. Even we can preserve, say this any kind of meat can be preserved by using this method. And what do you call this method? This method is called as a smoking. This is a smoking. Smoking means not cigarettes, bidi like this. Okay, right? Okay, then come to the next one. So jam. Generally while we are taking this bread, we like to use this jam. Okay, and then say this. What are these? Jellies. How we prepare them? Yeah, we prepare them with the fruits. Either fruits or as it is, or the fruit is crushed. Fruit is crushed, and we separate this pulp, right? So either the total fruit or pulp is separated, and then that is boiled. That is boiled for some time, and after boiling, to this boiled fruit we add sugar. We add more and more sugar. Okay, so here sugar acts as a preservative. Sugar acts as a preservative. Got it? So these are the things. Okay, and here by using all these methods, we can preserve this different types of food items like this. Got it? Okay. Now, even see this vegetable slices and the fishes are preserved by adding salt and drying them in sunlight. Have you seen, especially in summer season, when that means we get this summer season, our mother or the grandparents, what they do means they cut different types of vegetables into pieces. That means very thin slices, and then just like potato chips, right? And then they dry them under the sun, just like udi aloo. Yeah. Okay, so because of this sun drying, what happens? The water is completely removed from them. Okay, so that we can use them for a very, very long time. And what do you call that method? That method can be called as a sun drying. Sun drying. Got it? Okay. So these are the pictures like pickles, the next dry fishes, then a smoked fish, then jams, and jellies. Good. Okay, now let's come to the next one, that is a heat and a cold method. So for example, in early morning, whenever the milkmaid come and give you the milk, then what your mother do first? Your mother heat that milk, and then put that aside. Okay, so that we can use the same milk even for the evening. even for evening. Say for example, without boiling or without heating, if we use the same milk, that means morning milk in the evening, then what happens? You can find that the milk get spoiled. The milk is spoiled. So by heating, what we can do means we can store down the food. Naturally, this milk, but different types of food items. So because of this heat, in the heating, what we do, we apply high temperature, and because of this high temperature, if any microbes are present, those microbes are killed. So that food will not be spoiled. And the next one, when your father bought any vegetables or fruits from the market, then what your mother do? Whether your mother put all of them over the table? No, we put them in a where? That means in a refrigerator. What temperature you can find inside the refrigerator? Yeah, there is a 0 to 5 degrees. That means in a deep freezer we can find 0 degrees, but in a door and in all the other areas we can find 5 degrees centigrade. So when compared with the normal room temperature, inside the fridge we can find a very low temperature. That low temperature inhibits the growth of microbes. Inhibits, here what is meant by inhibits means stops, right? So both this high temperature and the low temperature stops the growth of microorganisms. So by heating and cooling we can preserve the food materials by killing the microbes, correct? And now the next topic, that is pasteurization. Now actually this pasteurization is a method which is used to preserve milk, without spoilage and for a long time, So here, in our daily life you can find this packed milk like Vijaya milk, Dudla milk, and the next Arogya milk. Have you seen? So how all this milk is prepared means by using the same process, that is pasteurization. And this method was firstly invented by a famous scientist, that is Louis Pasteur. And in this method, firstly the milk is heated to very high temperature, that is 72 degrees centigrade. For how much time? For 30 degrees, for 30 seconds. So when the milk is heated to this high temperature, if any harmful microbes are present, those microbes are completely killed. Correct. And then after 30 seconds, then immediately the temperature is reduced to 10 degrees. Immediately, not slowly. Got it? That's a specialty of this pasteurization. So from 72 degrees centigrade, suddenly the temperature fallen down to 10 degrees centigrade. So 72 is a very high temperature, 10 degrees is a very low temperature. So by using high temperature, almost all the microbes are killed. Even if any microbes are still present in that microbes, because of this low temperature, they become inactive. Alright? So at the same temperature, the milk is stored, and that means the milk is packed into this polythene covers or bottles, and then again they are stored at the same temperature till distributed. Okay, have you seen whenever you touch this milk packets, milk bottles like this, then how you feel? They're very cold. Why? Means as they are preserved at a low temperature, that is 10 degrees centigrade, right? So here these temperatures are very important. To what temperature the milk is heated? That is 72 degrees centigrade. For how much time? For 30 degrees. For 30 seconds, and then suddenly the temperature is reduced to, there is 10 degrees centigrade. And who invented this method? Louis Pasteur. Got it? Okay. Now, invention of pasteurization. Actually, this method was invented by a famous scientist, that is Louis Pasteur, and he was born in France, in a small village in France, and he was a painter actually. He was a painter, but he wanted to become a teacher. It's a very proud, proud thing. This Louis Pasteur carried out his research on crystals. Crystals means, have you seen this salt? Salt is available in two forms, like a powder, and some is in a solid form, like in in different shapes. Have you seen? That is called crystals. So over these crystals, he carried out his research, and in those days, see, this wine industry was in a great trouble in preserving this preserving wine. In a foreign countries, taking up this alcohol and wine is a very, very common, right? But they faced one problem. What was that? When they preserved the milk, that wine was spoiling. Okay, so these people, they come to this Pasteur for a solution. So by conducting some studies, this Louis Pasteur hypothesized. Hypothesized means, he thought it might be, okay, but he don't know whether it is right or wrong. Got it? So that is called a hypothesis. And what he hypothesized means, he thought that microbes are a main reason for this spoilage, and even these microbes can be controlled by heating. Okay, so what he hypothesized means, this spoilage of milk is because of microbes, and that microbes can be controlled by heating. And even he proposed a theory called germplasm theory. Germplasm. According to this, what is this theory means? So microorganisms can cause disease. Different types of microbes. Okay? So what do you call that theory means? Germplasm theory. And even say this Louis Pasteur, he also prepared vaccines for a very dangerous disease like rabies. Rabies. We get this by dog bite, and even anthrax in human beings, and even in cattle. And he saved a silk industry of Germany and France by controlling different types of disease which are caused to this silk moth. Already in 7th class you studied about this silk moth, right? So when it is present in the form of larva, so that larva might be affected by different types of microbes, so the production decreases. So he controlled all the disease which can be caused to this silkworm larva, right? So in this way, this Pasteurisation, Louis Pasteur did a great service to the society, right? And here you can find the picture of a very famous personality, that is Louis Pasteur. Got it? Okay. Now see, Lazzaro Spallanzani. Who is this scientist means? This is the first person who proved experimentally. He proved experimentally that microbes can be killed by boiling. That means whenever any liquid is boiled, then by boiling we can kill that microbes. So this was proven experimentally by this Lazzaro Spallanzani. But Louis Pasteur, he thought that microbes can be killed by heating. But this scientist, he proved that microbes can be controlled by boiling, right? So Lazzaro Spallanzani. And then the next one, storage and packing. Nowadays we can find that different types of food items like dry fruits and even vegetables are available in sealed and airtight packets. Have you seen sealed and airtight packets? Even airtight means, have you seen this powders like say Horlicks, Boost, Maltova like this, they are available in airtight containers. So air cannot enter into them easily. Air or along with the air, microbes cannot enter. Microbes cannot enter. That's why we can store them for a long time without spoilage. Got it? Okay, and because of this proper preservation of food, so what are the advantages we have? Means, because this we can prevent spoilage of food. Food cannot be spoiled when food is properly preserved. And what is the next one? That means food can be preserved for a longer period. That means, have you seen when you can find any packed food items like say this biscuits or chocolates or any kurkure, something like this, there you can find a manufacture date and also there's an expiry date. They have very long time periods like 3 months and 6 months and 1 year. How they can be stored for such a long time means because of this proper preservation, right? And even quality of food can be ensured. That means even when the food is stored properly, the quality can be maintained as it is. That's the reason why we can find this manufacture date and expiry date. After expiry date, the quality of the food decreases and it becomes spoiled. Got it? Okay, that's why whenever we are taking any packed food item, we must observe these time periods, manufacture time and also there's an expiry date, right? And even variety of food items may be available in a faraway places at any season. For example, take this apples. We're not growing apples in a Dharmal or a Pradhutu like this. But even then, throughout the year, we can find these apples in our market. Actually, where they are growing, they're grown in a faraway places like say this in Jammu Kashmir, like this. Okay, but even though they're growing in long distant places, but how we are able to get them means because of this proper preservation methods, right? Okay, so these are the advantages of storing the food in the proper conditions. Okay, then the next one, invention of a pasteurization led to sterilization process. What is when my sterilization process means? Making the substance free from microbes. That means from any item we remove the microbes. That process can be called as a sterilization process, especially if you take the hospitals. Nowadays we are using this disposable injections, disposable syringes, right? Only for a single use. But in olden days, that means in our childhood days, we can find that all these syringes are made up of glass, and all these things were kept in one container, and in that container we can find water and these syringes. Continuously they were boiling these syringes. Why they're boiling means, so in order to remove or in order to kill the microbes present in them. Got it? Even in operation theaters we can find different types of surgical instruments like scissors, knives, then a forceps, all these things. So once the operation is over, then what they do? They clean them first and then they sterilize them. Means they boil them to high temperature so that if any microbes are present, they can be killed. So what do you call that? That method can be called as a sterilization. That means here they are heated for a high temperature for more than 30 minutes. Okay, and that's all for the today's session, and with this we come to the end of this topic, this lesson. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.